Hello, Anning Community High School. My name is Caleb Zaborski, and welcome back to your weekly weather forecast, number 22. Let's hop right into the next week. So let's see. It's February 10th, and we're going to see that kind of in trend with February. It's going to be just a little bit chilly. Quick warning for these temperatures is that the models during this time fluctuate wildly. So while you see, the low could be a negative on Wednesday, the actual likelihood of that happening a little bit lower than maybe my forecasts present. So just keep that an eye out. But also, it's going to be generally cold, so just keep that also in mind. But for Monday, February 10th, nothing much going on that day. We have a high of high 20s and a low of around the teens. Pretty cold, but not too cold. But it gets even colder on Tuesday. We have men's basketball and we have NLCC Honor Band. For that, a high in the teens and a low in the single digits. Wednesday, once again, gets even colder. We have women's basketball on that day with a high in the teens and a low. Could be negative, could be single digits. But just keep in mind, dress in layers. Thursday, we have blues in the school. And for that, a high of high 20s and a low of around the single digits. So once again, you can see over the course of the week, pretty consistent temperatures. Friday, there's no school. Also Valentine's Day. We have wrestling sectionals and men's varsity basketball here at home. Now for that, high in the teens and a low in the single digits. Saturday, wrestling sectionals again. Bowling sectionals for the women. And the very first, I believe, men's indoor track invitational. And then men's basketball again. For that, a high in the mid-20s and a low in the single digits. And then Sunday, we go from men's indoor track to the women's indoor track invitational. And for that, it might be the warmest of the week with a high in the low 30s and a low in the teens. So just keep an eye out for that. Going to be just a little bit chilly, but let's hop into the outlooks. So for here, the temperature outlook kind of stays in track with the forecast, saying that it's probably going to be below average temperatures. You see over most of the United States is going to be below average, unless you're like in Florida or Alaska or Hawaii. Going on into the precipitation outlook. Just a little bit above average, nothing too much. Could see a flurry or two of snow. Could even see like some rain depending on how temperatures are. Do not expect freezing rain like we had last Thursday. But going on, just a quick thing on solar activity because we have had some more interesting activity. So what's happening? This is sunspot region, also known as active region 13981. I know, they have horrible names. And this is as of February 4th. This is in the Beta Gamma Delta configuration, which kind of goes, it kind of incorporates the magnetic configuration. So a delta, once again, like I explained last week. So you have these points of red and blue very close to each other. I think the beta and the gamma kind of had to do with there's large groups of just one polarity. But we're going to see that over here in the little charts, it's been super active in producing a ton of different flares. These are all M-class flares. We've not had an X-class yet, and I almost don't expect one because of just how it's been. Because right now, as of Thursday, it's starting to decay just a little bit. But overall, a ton of M-class flares, not too much long duration events, but these have been what we call impulsive flares, not eruptive. Eruptive flares, those give you your coronal mass injections. Those give you, the aurora borealis. But these impulsive ones, the flare happens, but it does not shoot anything out. And that also goes in play with what we call magnetic caging in the sun. Some sunspot regions, like this one, even though it's super complex and has a ton of activity, something with the sun's magnetic field or whatnot, whenever a flare happens and it quote-unquote launches anything, like part of the corona plasma, it actually gets held back by the sun, and while it does move within that small area, it does not shoot out towards anywhere in space. It kind of just stays in the sun. It gets reabsorbed. So it's pretty interesting just to see how this thing has been an absolute monster at producing a ton of flares, super high activity, but nothing that's actually going to show for us. But going on, Just a quick overview. This is the sun, and right there is that active region, and that's a M8.88 flare. Quick thing about flares, there's the classes to them. It goes from A to B to C to M to X. Now the thing about this is that a B class flare, so for every flare except for X class, it's a scale from 1 to 10. Once you reach like an A10, that's just a B1. And it kind of continues that trend up until X class. Because X class flares are so rare, they can actually surpass the 10 limit. So we've had an X22 before, an X43 even, and those are super powerful events.